Lens podcast with me, Alex Allegra.
And Katie Fee.
And we have a special guest. We have Miss Miggie Snyder here on the podcast today. Thank you so much for coming.
I'm so excited.
Good.
This is so fun.
Welcome in.
I got the opportunity to film her album release and was so impressed and was like, Katie, we have to add her to the podcast list. I just thought that your story resonated with me a lot of like choosing paths and being in the musical theater and very classically trained world to like switching gears and just completely moving. So do you want to give us a little intro about who you are and what you do?
Sure. So my name is Miggie Snyder, and now I'm an independent pop artist based in Nashville, but I'm originally from the Chicago suburbs. I grew up in classical music. I am a trained classical pianist, actually.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and found my way into really loving being on stage through show choir, which I started in like when I was like 8. So I love show choir. That got me into theater because all my friends in show choir were doing theater shows, so I was like, I want to be in theater.
Yeah, so. What is the main difference between like show choir versus theater versus choir? Because
my gosh.
Katie was in show choir and it was not a thing in my high school or
Where
anywhere
are you
in
from?
Brown.
South Dakota, originally.
Okay.
Yeah.
What show choir were you in?
Well, I only did like the middle school show choir and then didn't do it in high school.
Okay. So I did it in high school, and competitive high school show choir is
that's
like
a lot.
on another level.
Is it like Pitch Perfect? Like
It's
Pitch
Pitch Perfect is a cappella, which I did run my a cappella group in high school, so that's separate.
Okay.
It's crazy. So I did actually everything, so I can kind of break it all down. So you've got a cappella groups, which is fully a cappella singing.
Yeah.
You'll have kind of a small group of people doing that. Then you'll have show choir, which show choir is 30-minute sets of about 5 songs, depending on if you do like medleys and stuff. And then you do them on risers.
Okay.
So Glee was based off of a high school that my family went to. So my mom knew the creator of Glee.
Okay.
Because he used to work at Mount Prospect. I believe if I'm getting this wrong, people can fact check me, but I believe this is true. And so that's where it all started. Now Glee is a very amended version of what show choir really is like. So there are some elements that are true, some elements that aren't. Okay. But it is you have a competition show that you learn, and then you go travel around the country and you compete it, and you have 30 minutes to you competed in 30 minutes, and they're timing you from set up to tear down. So it's like you go into a warm-up room. You could be performing at 8 a.m. You could be performing at 3 p.m.
Oh, okay.
Right? You go, you perform. You'll have quick changes in your show. So you'll have like 30-second quick changes.
Why? This needs to be a thing at all high school, because that was like like when I was 16, even like the first showcase I did as like a pop art or country artist, I was like, I'm incorporating quick changes, like all the stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it was very, very intense. You'd have girl number, guy number. You always have a ballad. Like it's always kind of like 2 songs, ballad typically in the middle, then 2 more songs to finish you out. And like I said, you have 30 minutes, you perform. Then you go to the like decompression room after, where you get to hear judges' critiques. Like they record their critiques of your entire, so you sit there and listen to someone critiquing 30 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
And then you'll find out if you make finals. So you go and you sit and they have an award ceremony. And then if you make finals, you have to go get ready. And then you're performing again. Could be 6 p.m., could be midnight. Oh my God. Doing your set again. And then you're going to do another award ceremony where you find out where you placed for the entire thing. Okay. Then you're going to get on a bus and drive back home. And parents are going to pick you up at like 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
From your high school.
Was yours this intense?
From what I've heard of people who I knew that were in it, but yeah.
So not when you
middle
were
school
doing it
wise, it was like a t-shirt and jeans, like same t-shirt.
My middle school was
stuff,
also intense. I was in like a full velvet, dark, like navy blue outfit with a lime green belt and a big glitter star on it.
Oh my God,
so intense. And the girls were in like they were in those like halter neck hot pink sequin dresses that when you turned they fanned out, like very intense. I went to like performing, it was called the School of Performing Arts.
Okay, I was gonna ask if you went to a performing
I didn't school. It was like an after school though, so like I'd go to public school during the day, and then after school I'd go do dance classes, voice lessons, show choir, be in shows for hours on end after school. I was very over involved. So I did show choir. Then I was also in choir, which choir is specific choral music.
Right.
So that was like an actual curricular class during my like high school day. That was one of my like periods, is I would be in choir for 45 minutes or 50 minutes or whatever. And you're singing actual like classical stuff. You're doing sight reading, because I did like the state choir. I had to you had to audition and stuff. So I was in like the all state choir at one point. And I actually like doing choir is how I was able to perform at Carnegie Hall when I was 14.
Okay.
Because I did choir and classical singing and then I auditioned and I got to go. It was really cool. They take kids from all around the world and
you auditioned for that.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's audition only, and they bring in people from 14 to 18 all around the world. They bring them in and they perform at Carnegie Hall like 4 or 5 choral songs. And it was conducted by Jeffrey Ames, who teaches at Belmont, which is like the craziest small circle.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. I've only done it through like different choirs that I was part of outside of school that I auditioned for, but it was always through them, not like directly through Carnegie. So that is so cool.
Yeah, it was called the Honors Performance Series Choir, and it was such a cool experience. So yeah, so then choir, and then theater, being in musical theater is whole nother thing, because that's like your acting, singing, dancing,
right?
So that's your like that's your auditioning into shows and stuff like that, which I did. That was my college degree. I was a musical theater major.
What made you want to do musical theater in college? Was that like always the path was to do musical theater?
I don't know. It's so funny. When I was really little, I wanted to be a paleontologist, honestly.
Oh, okay.
That when I was like 4, if you asked me what I wanted to be, I was like, I'm going to study dinosaurs.
Oh my god.
Because I think I just knew in my heart music was always going to be a part of my life in any way. I didn't think I was like, that's professionally what I'll do. But in middle school, I remember like 8th grade, they made us do a project where we had to pick a career and we had to research it. Like we had to interview someone who was in that career and do a whole outline of like financially and all this stuff have this career. My public schools were intense. And so
it's very similar to mine. Like mine was so intense. Like my theater was so intense because we used all the off Broadway. Like so I that's why your story really resonated with me, because I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm not the only one that had the most like insane weird high school.
No,
experience.
it was very intense. And so like I because of that, they treated us truly like we were in Broadway in Chicago, in the suburbs. Yeah. Like, it was very...
No, we even had our own little, like, award show. It was called the Freddie Awards. And, like, all the high schools competed in our area. Like, but, like, you would have guessed it was, what are the more famous ones?
Jimmy Awards?
Yes. They treated it like that.
Right.
Like, it was like, I don't think anyone except the surrounding areas knows what the Freddie Awards are until but they do have a documentary of it on Netflix. Fun fact for you. Yeah,
I know what I'm watching today. That's awesome. Oh my god. But yeah, so very intense. So so then I did the project, and when I was coming up with what I wanted to do for the project, the only thing I could think about was being in theater, being in musical theater, and being on Broadway. And I was like, well, I guess. And so I did that project, and I think that's what started the spark. And then in high school, I went on some college visits, and I went and visited my mom's alma mater, which is the University of Illinois. And I sat down with someone, and they basically told me if I wanted to go there, they didn't really have a musical theater program established. Okay. Yeah. And my heart, like, dropped completely. Yeah. I was, like, so sad. And that is when it really clicked, like, oh, you have to go after this, because if you don't do this, you're gonna regret it, and you're gonna be sad about it. So my parents were like, well, we don't know anything about this. Yeah, we're not. My mom's was a high school math teacher. My dad owned a software company, so they were like, oh wow, okay, we don't know. Yeah, we don't know. Yeah. So if you want to do this, like, you're gonna have to do some research, girl. And so I did, and I'm forever thankful that they were like, if you want to be in this industry in any capacity, the motivation has to come from you. We can't be the ones pushing you along, because it's such a hard path to be creative in any capacity, because you have to want it. Yeah. And you have to want it every day, and figure out every day the different ways that you're going to make it happen. Yeah. And so because of that, I'm glad that at a young age they were like, okay, you want this? Figure it out, and we'll support you through it. So we'll bring you to the universities that you think are the best, and we'll sit down with the department heads and have conversations, and we'll learn about what's needed for a pre-screen, and hire a pianist, and do the professional videography. And like, they supported me every step of the way, but I was leading the charge, which was I think that was so important. And so then I ended up going to Western Michigan for my college experience. I was between Belmont and Western.
Okay, I was gonna ask if you had any other
I wanted to go to Belmont, and I did get into Belmont, and I wanted to go to Western, got in there, and truthfully, it came down to finances. I had better scholarships at Western. So I was like, well, you don't make a lot of money in music.
Yeah.
Do I want to be, more in debt going to one place than the other? And Western also has a phenomenal program.
Yeah.
So Belmont's program's great. I just think Western's more established.
Yeah. No, that's fair. It was still like a very tight, very small, but like when I auditioned for it, they were like very much promoting like, oh, well, we have a lot of people on tours and stuff like that in like Hamilton and all that
Book
stuff
of Mormon.
in Chicago and like so I was like, okay. And I had also auditioned for like their music program and stuff, but like they are stingy with their scholarships. Like that was the one thing as I was like, okay, I have a better chance getting a business degree at Belmont than I did doing any of that. And I think
I would have honestly, I worry I would have gotten burned out being here too soon at a young age. Okay. Because when I was in my theater program, I did not have a strong sense of self. I think I constantly, and I mean, theater programs are tough because you're constantly listening to cast recordings and how did this person do it and how did that person do it, and you need to do what was written, but you also need to make it your own, but you also need to not stray too far from what's expected for that character because you're trying to fit into that vocal box. Yeah. So it's a lot of mental work to be in those roles, whereas being an artist, I get to decide how I sound, how I show up, and there's way more freedom for me, and it's a lot less taxing stress-wise. Yeah. So I think coming down here too young and having to like establish my sense of self at like 19, I would have been a mess.
As somebody who did it, it was very, I reinvented myself so many times. And like after college, I was like, okay, now and that's kind of where this podcast came from too, was like, okay, forget, but also remember everything that you learned so that you can put it into now who you are as a person. And I love that you talk about the whole burnout aspect of it, because I think everyone thinks that these professions are so fun, and they are, but when these types of professions get hard and you have to pick yourself up and figure out how are you going to do it when you're so burnt out and all that stuff, it is so much harder and actually feels like a job that people don't want to feel like a job. And it's like, but it is. And you have to face that hard reality so fast then. And like, what are you going to do? Because then it's all on you. Well,
and that's why I transitioned away from theater, honestly. Because I went to school and I was performing professionally every summer. I did 2 years at Six Flags. Then I was at a summer theater, another summer theater, another like back-to-back contracts. I was very fortunate. And I was flying to New York and auditioning for cruise ships. I was in off-Broadway callbacks for The Office, the off-Broadway Office. I was in like final callbacks for that one. And so I could see that path starting. And I was like, okay, I'm figuring it out. But the problem was I had some meetings with agents, and when I would tell them my intentions of continuing to be a songwriter and be a musician and also do theater, everybody was telling me I had to choose.
And that's so surprising. I feel like I got such the opposite of like, well, what all like can you put under your umbrella? Like, can you add acting? Can you add dancing? Can you add like all these things? And so then I was trying to like perfect everything, and then I was just so burnt out by the end of it.
Yeah, no, they would tell me you have to choose, or this is the kind of the worst situation that kept happening is I would get cast in a show professionally. Yeah. And I would start rehearsals, and we would either have a music director who wasn't there or a music director who wasn't, honestly, just didn't understand the material and wasn't really coaching us well. Yeah. So then I would start coaching the cast, because I was a professional accompanist since I was 13. I was a professional accompanist. I did auditions. I was a music director. So I was professionally doing that. So I would start helping out, because that's just kind of my personality, is I'm like, well, I want it to be right. So, so and
you're very, I was going to say, it's surprising that you say you had no sense of self, because you're very, like, you walk into a room and, like, you just know who you are, and I love that. So
it's taken a while. I think it actually is beneficial to be lost and find yourself. Yeah. Like, I think that's something everyone should go to, is not knowing who you are, because it allows you to really concretely find out who am I, what do I want. And I, even in the 6 years I've been releasing music, I've done that. But yeah, so I would start helping the cast, and then the directors would come to me and say, hey, we're gonna pull you out of the show and put you in the pit. And I'd be like, I worked my butt off to be in this show, to have this role, which I need on my resume.
Right.
And they would say to me, well, there's not as many music directors that can do what you're doing. And I'm like, well, that's unfair, because I don't want to be.
That's not.
I want to be on stage. So there were some times where I had to have like hard conversations of like, no, I am not going to music direct. I'm going to be on stage, and we're going to just have to figure it out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that kept happening, and I was getting so frustrated that I kept getting pulled out of shows that I worked my butt off to be in. And so when the pandemic happened, I was actually supposed to go on a cruise ship. I was supposed to be on an Alaskan cruise for 3 months doing piano for a country band. This is the crazy thing. Okay. And they sent me the national number system. That's when I learned it, was 2020.
Oh, wow.
Okay. It was such a weird coincidence.
How was learning the national number system?
Easy.
Okay.
Easy being a
They make
pianist.
it sound like it's this, like...
It's not.
Thing. And I learned it so bad. That was the one thing before I went down here, all my guitar teachers were like, this is what you have to learn. It really isn't, like, but everyone makes it this big daunting thing.
You know what
I
have never learned is the circle of fifths.
Really?
Because I'm a pianist. So when you're a guitarist, I think you feel like you envision the guitar in that way, maybe.
Okay. That's what they said, but I always envisioned it as a piano. Because that was the only way that I could, like, get it to connect in my brain.
I do the same thing. My producer recently said to me, she was like, you think of the guitar as a piano, and then you play that way. And I'm like, well, yeah, because that's all I know.
Like, I couldn't, my guitar teacher was like, okay, now picture the circle. And I'm like, I can't picture the damn circle.
No, I can't either.
It's not connected.
Everything's a keyboard in my head. It's all a keyboard or sheet music. That's how honestly, the number system, which I think is so smart and is, I think everyone should learn it. It's such a good, I actually think it improved my sight reading and improved my ability to learn music and like so quickly.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I'm a big math person.
Yeah.
I actually like had a math minor for like a hot second in college.
Okay.
Crazy lore. But yeah, I did for like a hot second, and then
I'm loving learning all the Miggie lore here.
Then I went into Calc 2, and the professor had such a thick accent, and his handwriting was chicken scratch, and I was like, I won't learn anything, so I'm gonna drop this major or minor immediately. I was like, no. I think it's so valuable. So I learned it then when I was in COVID, or right before COVID, the pandemic. And then the pandemic happened and the cruise ship got canceled. Duh. All of my other theater contracts got canceled, or if they were still offered to me, they didn't have proper protections. And I was like, I have a family that's immunocompromised. I still want to be able to see my grandma through whatever way I can. Mm-hmm. So I didn't feel comfortable taking those contracts at that time. I just was like, no, I'm just going to stay home. And so I was home in my parents' basement with nothing else to do. And I was like, okay, I'm going to buy Logic. And I'm just going to start working on music because why not? Mm-hmm. I'd been songwriting since I was in middle school. And I showed it to a lot of people when I was growing up, and I got severely made fun of for all of my songwriting.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, bullied.
Even, my mom was like, why don't you just, like, take a song that you've written, like, in middle school? And I was like, this isn't for me. This was just, like, a diary of sorts.
Yeah.
And then she was like, take it to your choral professor. Or, like...
Oh, I didn't do that.
And my teacher was actually like, yeah, you could do this kind of thing on it. And it wasn't, like, anything to, like... It was like more like keep going kind of a thing, but that was about it.
See, I should have done that. I should have taken it to the people who would have like actually lifted me up. Instead, I was like showing my peers who were like, "This is horrible."
Yeah, that was why.
Which is like, why was I like, "Hey, 12-year-old who knows nothing about songwriting, what do you think of this?" Like, I should have been doing that. But it did toughen my skin up.
I was gonna say, yeah.
So it was like I was already getting feedback from a young age on my songwriting, and so I'd been doing it kind of more, close to the chest. Like I was not really showing people my songwriting. I would show it here and there. Like in college, I wrote a couple like mini musicals with a good friend of mine.
Very cool.
And so people responded positively to those, which kind of reignited my spark for kind of doing more songwriting. And so in the pandemic, I was like, okay, I've got nothing to do. I'm going to buy Logic, and I'm just going to start putting my stuff on the internet and see what happens. Mm-hmm. And within
So did you actually like produce a song and put it out on there?
Oh yeah, all of my first stuff. So my most well-known song to date, which has 1.5 million streams now, it's crazy, is a song called Legend Lake that I wrote in the pandemic. My grandma had just passed away. I wrote it about my family's lake house, which is she built for my family, and it's our favorite place. Everybody's there right now while I'm here. But I wrote about that, and I threw it up on the internet. It went stupid viral, which was crazy. And I was like, okay, I'll produce it. And so I had my Yeti mic. I had bought Logic, and that was it. And I was just like, I'm going to produce it. And I did. And it's still my most popular song to date. And I listened to that production, and I'm like, oh, no. Because it was done so bare bones. I'm not even playing to a click, you guys. I'm just like, what? My first 2 songs are not played to a click. They're just me, like,
I love that, though.
That's a good thing sometimes.
Part is the worst. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try and produce something, and I start like, okay, how do I even start? And then I'm like, okay, just get a click going and grab your guitar and at least get something down so you have some sort. And I'm just like 5 seconds into the click, I'm like, I can't stand this click, and then I give up, and then I'm done.
There's only a few songs I've ever released without a click. The first 2 being my first 2 songs because I didn't know how to use a click. Yeah. And I was like, and I remember there was a producer that tried to, when I did my first EP, he tried to fix my first song, Paris, which is not done to a click, and tried to get it to a click, and I was like, Chris.
Good luck.
I was like, Chris, I know the mandolin's out of tune. I know that the cajon sounds completely offbeat. It is what it is. It was a moment in time. I didn't know what I was doing. We're just gonna leave it alone. So
it was. There you go.
Yeah. So that was my second song ever, having that much success, and me doing literally everything myself by myself in my parents' basement was a very crazy experience. Because since then, I mean, I've done so much that it's this weird pocket you're in where it's like you do so much, and yet I've yet to like have that same level of success, which is weird because I feel like my new stuff is just as good, but there's those songs that people just attach to because they're just these special moments in time. And it was a song about longing for my lake house during a time when people were locked inside and couldn't go to their special lake house or vacation or whatever. And it also helped that it was right when the Percy Jackson series started kind of revving up, and all the Percy Jackson fans like loved the song.
Oh my gosh.
To the point where I did a bunch of parodies of my own song. No, I'm not kidding. And I did commissions. I made I was doing them for $20 each, and I must have done 100 of them.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. And so I think actually I did maybe 100. I don't know how many I've done at this point. I still do them on occasion. People will message me for them.
Just direct message you for those kinds of things? Okay.
They'll just, I mean, it's on my website too, I think. Maybe, actually, I don't know. I need to look. It was on my website for a while where you could have a commission for me, but I feel like I've changed I'm one of those people where I'm like, I'm bored, I'm gonna change my website.
Oh, I do that all the time.
I'm doing that all the time.
I'm okay, yeah. Because I was you could probably make good money doing the song gift kinds of things,
right?
That's what I do these for now. I mean, obviously, $20 in 2020. The rate has changed.
Oh, right.
It's inflation. It's gone up. But I also when I was doing them in 2020, to be fair, they're much higher quality now when I do them because I actually have a professional mic and I do a bit of reorchestrating, and I actually get it. I actually fluff it up because now I know what I'm doing because I've been producing my stuff for so long with co-producers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say, so how because you said the one girl in your band that was at the release show was also your producer, so you do the main production of it though.
With her. Yeah. Okay. So what we essentially do is when we've got a song that we're ready to put out, because I mean we do pre-production meetings where we'll sit down with a group of songs and I'll create demos for all of them, and the demos aren't crazy. They're just usually piano, guitar, bass, drums, very minimal though, and some of them I just do piano if I feel like I'm I don't know what I want yet. So we sit down and we'll do that, and we'll go through the list and we'll decide, all right, what do we want to put on the project. What do we feel like fits? What doesn't? We'll have kind of conversations about it. And once we have our decisions made, then I will send Alyssa kind of vibe or just like bare bones elements that I know need to be included. So, for example, I'm trying to think of like Mad Libs, honestly. My first song on my album. I sent her the sound, so like the synth sound you hear is a Logic sound. I think both of them are Logic sounds because there's like one version at the top and then there's a bass drop into another. They're both Logic sounds that I sent her that I liked, and then I sent her kind of a general bass and 808 with that, and then a scratch vocal.
Okay.
And that was kind of all I sent her. And she came back, and she'll come back and she'll point things out that where she's like, okay, I think these 808s and the bass needs to change. You know, I do like the synth. I'm going to add to it. You know, I think this needs to be done this way. And so once we have a track that we feel solid about, I'll go in and do lead vocals with her. She's a fantastic vocal coach, like in the studio.
Cool.
She's so good at hearing what I don't hear and like kind of guiding me through the sessions. She's awesome. So we'll do that together. And then once we have the lead down, she will send me back because we comp vocals together. So we do the lead, we sit down, we comp, and then she'll send it back to me with the track separated, and then I'll do all of my background vocals by myself. So I go into my closet and I do my background vocals, and then I'll send them back to her. She'll tell me these are great, or we need to add this, or I think we should do this, and like she'll kind of give me feedback. And then once we're happy with the background vocals, she'll add any other elements, send me a mix. Then we'll go back and forth on. Typically, we don't do more than a couple mixes. I think one time I had her do 11, and that was like really. It was.
My gosh.
It was because I thought we needed steel drums on something, and I kept trying a different. Then I was like, maybe vibraphone. Why don't we add? She literally the other day I texted her. I was like, I think this song needs a glockenspiel hit. She goes, No. What are you? No. It
I love that you know that though, and you can be like, I think this is what it needs.
Well,
like,
and I love that she's like, and no, it doesn't. This is a pop song. We're not putting glockenspiel in it, but thanks. I'm like, can we add some timpanis? She's like, no. So it's always very comical us kind of producing together because Alyssa has become my big sister. Like she and I are basically, we treat each other like siblings. When we're in writes together, it's very comedic because people who haven't written with us before, we talk to each other so bluntly. Like she'll give a suggestion for a lyric and I'll go no. Yeah. Or vice versa.
Oh, like, Katie and I do the same thing.
Right,
I'm like, you're being a bitch, and everyone's in the room's like, and I'm like, it's okay. This is just
no, we're very.
It's all okay.
I've had some people who are very turned off by it, and honestly, I get it. Like, if you're used to a writer's room where everybody is like, yeah, great.
Yeah.
Then you're not going to like it because we fight for what we think is the best version of the song, and we don't really we're not going to back down when we know, like, this is what needs to happen. Yeah. And I've had the best songs happen because of that. So it's like, as much as it's like, I'm sure other people are very jarred by it, for us, we're like, this is just how we roll.
Yeah. So it helps that a lot of your like close friends seem to also be your songwriters.
Yes.
So like,
yeah, it's worked out that way. My three closest friends, Sadie Anderson, who's Daisy, Elena Jones, and Alyssa Trahan, they're kind of like my main team of writers, but I kind of shuffle through. This album had a few different people. Crazy to say, but my next album will have different people because that's already in. Yeah. It's already being written.
It's
already
so
being
hard to
on.
Not keep going.
Right.
It's like the second that it's out, I know like you need to promote it and do all that stuff, but it's like, okay, like I've been sitting on it for so long that it's so hard to not just be like, okay, what's next? And
I've been working on. So I first started working on my first album in 2020.
Oh wow!
And then it didn't come out until 2024. So it was a 4-year writing process, and then 2024 is when the title song for this album, Hot and Young, was written. And so that's been a 2-year production. Yeah. And the next album, I did my first writing for that last year. Okay. So I'm just kind of in a constant motion of writing.
Yeah.
It's just like...
But you have such already such a put together professional, you got your shit together. Thank you. So how is that when you feel, because I just feel like you should be so much farther ahead than you are. And how do you deal with that? Just keep going and powering through.
Some people might say it's kind of I don't know, vain or like I'm full of myself to say it, but
you kind of have to be in this industry to be honest.
I fully believe that when it's supposed to happen for me, it's going to.
Yeah.
Because I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know how else to explain it other than just I know, because when I think about not being in music, I feel bored. I feel like I'm not fulfilled. I feel like what's the point? And so I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And honestly, I think that I entered the industry in a weird footing because my second song had so much success. So I went from being someone who had nothing out to two songs out in this, and that song is already thousands of videos on the internet.
Yeah.
And so it is weird because then I released a song a month after that, and it is one of my least streamed songs.
Really? Okay, I was gonna ask how you, because it's always like, okay, well, you need to like keep riding that wave, but then you never know when that wave is actually gonna keep riding. My favorite thing to look at are people like, one of my favorite artists of all time is Cody Fry. Okay.
Love him down. Literally love his stuff. And I remember discovering him back in like 2016 when his album came out, and it was I Hear a Symphony. That song that was massive.
Yeah.
2016 is when I think it had recently released in like the past year, right? So maybe 2015. I want to say around then is when it came out. That's when I found the song.
Yeah.
It went viral on TikTok in like 2022.
Oh, okay. So you never know.
You really never know when a song's gonna hit. I mean, it's the same sense of like, you could put a song out tomorrow and then in 3 years someone hears it and is like, I'm gonna put it in this TV show, and now you've blown up overnight.
Yeah.
So you don't know I've always said this to my friends, like, if you're going into music with the concept of like, I'm gonna make a hit and I'm gonna be a star, you're not doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
I don't think you're doing it for the right reasons. I think the goal of being in music to me is to create great music that's great to you, because also, by the way, you're gonna be singing it forever. So if you write a song that you hate, you're screwed, because that's gonna be the one that's gonna be what does
exactly.
Well. So don't put out songs that you don't love, that you're not gonna be singing a million times over.
Yes.
Because it's, you know what I mean? So I think you have to be in it. You have to be in it for yourself. And I wrote a song that's the closing track on Hot and Young called I Lived the Dream. And it's because of advice I got from my mentor, Craig, who is the reason I moved here. He passed away a few years ago. And it was super, super hard for me when he passed away. And I very much felt like, what now? Because I was like, this is the person who was my guiding light in my career, and now what do I do? But since then, the advice I've kept in the back of my head is advice he gave me when I was 19, I think. 10 years ago, which is crazy, where I was sitting down with him at lunch, and it was when I was doing theater, and I was like, I don't know if I should be in theater. Maybe I should be in music. Maybe I should move, like, maybe I should transfer to Belmont. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And he was like, well, what do you want to do? At the end of the day, what do you want to do? I said, well, I just want to travel around and play music for people. That's really it. Could be my music, could be other people's music. I just want to play music for people. Yeah. And he said, well, you already do that. I was like, oh, I do. And he's like, so you're literally already doing that dream that you're talking about. You're doing it right now. So everything else is just like a bonus.
Yeah.
And like so whenever I get caught up where I'm like, this didn't do well or this didn't happen, I remind myself that like, I'm lucky to even get 10 minutes of doing this. I'm literally lucky to be sitting in this room chatting with you because we found each other through socials and you came in. Like, that's cool. And I could never be on another podcast again, and I'd be like, well, I got to be on your guys', so like, you know what? So you just have to look at things that way, because if you are constantly looking at the top of the mountain, you're missing everything else. Like the hike, you don't go on a hike because you're like, I'm going on this hike to see the very top. Whoa, okay, well then you are missing, like, I guess you're walking blind the whole time, like you're missing everything else, and also you're gonna trip and fall because like you're not paying attention. So it's like you gotta keep your eyes open, you gotta be present, and you gotta let go of numbers. You have to let go of all of that. And like, you know, I mean, you and I were messaging about this, like, I have such a hard time with it. I still get hate on my stuff constantly. I've been getting hate on my stuff for years. I don't know why people.
It was just like, and I mean, like, you handled it with such grace, and that's why I was like, it's like, the fact that, like, you have put in all of the work, and that's why I was so happy that you were coming on, especially, like, when we were DMing about that, because I was just, like, it's just so sad to see some of that stuff that, like, we have to even make the comment about it, because it's just, like, you put in the work, and you were doing the work, and, like, you captivated that room, so it's, like, I've seen that in person, and I know that, like, you're just not getting it on the internet, and that's on you, because I've seen it in person. Well,
so the crazier thing was all of the hate was coming from fellow musicians. That was wild. The most bizarre thing for me was fellow musicians in the comments telling me, you're nowhere near a professional musician. If you want to do this professionally, you've got a lot of work to do, which I'm like, okay, so maybe you think I'm 18. I get it. Okay. Yeah. I look like a baby. I'm almost 30. So okay. I'm like literally I'm good. I'm 29. Like I'm rapidly approaching 30. Yeah. So it's like I'm not a kid. I've been doing this I've been playing piano for 25 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's a long time, you know? So it's like, I mean, I honestly think if you as an artist or in creative industry, if you're the kind of person that's going, like, publicly and openly going on other creatives' posts and you're commenting things like that speaks a lot more about you than about me. That actually says nothing about me and everything about you.
Exactly. It really is like, you should be so much more focused on your own career and, like, bettering it for yourself than tearing down the musician next to you is, like, not going to get you anywhere. Dude, it's really
one of the people, like, had, like, 200,000 followers and was verified and commenting on my video, like hate comments. And I was like, why are you so worried about me? Right. I am nowhere near your level of success. Like, I'm not even in your same ballpark. Yeah. What's your... And it's like, it'd be one thing if they were commenting and they were like, was there something off with the sound? Like, if someone had commented and was like, this sound is weird, like, blah, blah, blah. I would have been like, oh, yeah, the sound is just weird from this. What's even more comedic is I posted that video from the live show of me singing my song Tiny Umbrella. Then I posted
a video. Which is so fun, and I was singing it before you came over.
I love that song. That song was literally just me and my friends. We had 45 minutes to write before it was quiet hours at our Airbnb in Florida. Okay. And we were like... We do this thing now, me and my friend Elena Jones, Alyssa Trahan, where if we have a crunch time for a write, we'll go, okay, everybody say 3 words, you know, like we each say a word. We have 60 seconds to think about the word, and then we say it, and then whatever we say, we have to put that in the song.
Yeah.
And so we literally sat there and we like thought about it, and then we said, okay, 1, 2, 3, and I think it was like umbrella, wave, and then strawberry, or like tide and strawberry. And so we were like, okay. And then we've written songs in like 20 minutes that way, because we're like, say so your words. Cool. And then so we wrote a song that we wrote for the next album that is so good. And we literally were on our retreat this past spring, and we were like, we have 20 minutes before dinner. Let's go into a room and write. And we did. And we literally were just like 20 minutes. And like, but it's like some of the best stuff because you're not overthinking it. That is, I will say, I think the longer, sometimes you get into a write where it hits a certain time frame where you go, we have to stop because we're overthinking it. And we have to walk away, and we have to come back to the material because we are starting to get too in the weeds of what are we saying and you're overcomplicating it.
I feel like we just did that with the Denim Darling song that we wrote for you. Yeah. And we were like, okay, we're like halfway through it, and we're like, maybe this is the bridge actually. Maybe this is the chorus. And then we stopped, and then we came back to it, and we were like, okay, what do we actually have here? What do we want to say with it? And then we actually finished the song rather quickly. And we were like, if we can breathe. Like, the song actually is good.
Yeah.
Why are we
I can't tell you how many songs I've had where I'm like, the rights to get the songs are so long, and then we come back to do like just like a verse or something, and it's immediate. And we're like, oh, well, we should have just walked away.
Yeah.
Like, yes. Oh, yeah. So I put out the video from the live show. And then literally like 2 videos like after that, I put out the video from rehearsal where I sound exactly the same. I just don't have a filter on my voice. No attention to that video. Nothing. And it would take people like 2 seconds but no one's going to do that work. People are going to make an assumption off of one video they see of you.
Yeah.
And they're going to get angry and comment paragraphs. And I don't know why. But I will say, I was talking to a friend of mine and I was like, you know, again, not to be vain, but like every hot, successful woman has people angry.
I was also going to say, no one is going through those comments like like, truly, I looked at the video and was like, oh, wow, it's doing great. And, like, I left it at that. And I was like, good for you, Miggie. I was like, okay, the video's doing great. The song's doing great. It's getting streams. Like,
well, I had to start deleting some of the comments because they were getting vicious.
Yeah.
And people were saying very scary things about me.
Oh yeah.
Oh, people were calling me, like, vapid and stupid and just horrible things. And so I did have to start, like, flagging some and deleting some because I was like, oh no, this is really bad for my mental health. So,
I'm one that I'm like, you know what, I'm not gonna just like have this just be out there. I'm just gonna delete the post and move on and delete the comment.
Yeah,
and move
that's
on
what I
from
do.
it, and I'm just like,
or I block.
Okay.
I love my block button. People are like, you need to leave everything. I go, no, it's my social media, it's my profile, and I have to be on there constantly because that's our job now is to just constantly be online. So if I have to constantly be online, it's gonna be a safe space for me. Sorry. And I'm all for, you know, feedback where, I mean, when my song Legend Late went viral, people were like, this is just Colors of the Wind from Pocahontas. And I was like, well, first of all, it's not, because I'd be in big trouble. I'd be in huge trouble. Alan Menken would be coming
I was
me.
like, Disney does not take things.
Yeah, no, you guys,
copyright
the post would be gone. Like, what are we talking about? So I was like, first of all, no. But second of all, like, I was like, okay, whatever. If you want to, I mean, I made a post where I was like, if you think I sound anything like Alan Menken's writing, thank you.
Yeah, right?
Literally, that's the goal. Like, I saw him in concert once. It was so good. He is, like, talk about, like, a person that I would, like, die to meet. He's just he's written some of the best songs to exist.
I think about sometimes I was like, I wanted to go down the Disney route, and I was like, you know what would be really cool is to be on a Disney writing team for the music, because at the end of the day, they're still getting the hits. It's crazy how good a Disney movie song can be. It's insane.
It's the I've been told by some of the producers I've known who are, like, out in LA and they do, like, Grammy stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I love you guys, but, like, you were on another level. So one of my good friends, Dave, was like, I met with him years ago, and he was like, yeah, you have, like, this Disney princess vibe, and I just, you know, you really, and I'm like, and then I realized when I got in the car today, I'm like, I look like freaking Tinkerbell if she was brunette. Like, I literally am like, okay.
Green right now.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I could see you doing it too, though, especially with your musical theater background, and like that. You are already a very catchy songwriter, so like to add that little like inspiration with it, like you could really
manifest it now.
Yes, we're manifesting it now.
Disney, if you hear me. I do say that when I play my song Comfort Zone at shows, because everyone that's heard it has been like, this should be an end credit for a Disney movie. And I'm like, right, so if you know someone from Disney, like, it'll grow up. Like, give me the deets. Like, I want it so bad. Yeah, I mean, that is, my dream would be for something of mine to be like, my dream would be like, people use Legend Lake for like a commercial for Wisconsin, like showing you know, Wisconsin lakes, and that'd be cool. Or again, using my song, I wrote a song called Music Man for my dad that's all about dads and just my love for my dad, and I'm like, that would be a great like Home Depot commercial. Or like
Father's Day Home Depot
I really that's like one of the things I feel like I'm lacking is figuring out that whole sync side. Sync is such a different beast that I don't know enough about, and I haven't broken into. So that's like on my list of like figuring out how to navigate that, because it's just
I truly believe you can, though, after talking to you, though. I'm like, she's got it in her somewhere. Like, she's just gotta I feel like it's once you find that you're in. It's just like getting that initial like step.
It's what everything is. It's how, because I've had people ask me like, how do you get your stuff to go viral? I go, I don't. There's not a single post I've ever made where I'm like, and this is the one. Like, that
needs to be said, because I really do think that a lot of times, especially even like artists figuring out who they are, like you can put yourself out there in a certain way, but at the end of the day, I really do think it's the audience that tells us what our viral
no, the audience tells you. Most of my viral moments. So my first viral moment was Legend Lake. I recorded it at 11 p.m. I'm wearing no makeup. I just washed my hair, so my hair looks crazy. And I'm like, my phone's propped up on my laptop, which I like hit play on Logic so the piano would play, and I'm singing it in my bedroom. The lighting's horrible. Posted at 11 p.m. Woke up the next morning. It's like tens of thousands of views. I'm like, oh, Same thing happened with my song Music Man, which has like 10 million views. The first video I posted on that, I'm not wearing any makeup. I'm in my hot car. I'm singing along to in my car radio.
Yeah.
So like the sound quality's horrible.
Yeah.
There have been 6,000 videos made with that audio of me dicking around in my car, for lack of a better term. Like, truthfully, like,
no.
Again, and then my song, How Do I Love song that went viral, I put up a video from a live show, and it's the second verse, and it's just me. Literally, the comment that I wrote is proof that I play my songs too fast live. Because I'm playing the song at, I'm the person where I'm like, playing my song way too fast because I get so excited on stage.
Yeah.
So the whole video's point was just me making fun of myself. Then it got 2 million views. Yeah. So there's never been any time. The one of Tiny Umbrella. I did not post that thinking, 22,000 people are going to see this.
Yeah.
I posted it being like, well, this is a good video for my live show. I'm going to put it up. Like, you just kind of have to be relentless with just saying, okay, I'm going to throw this up and see what happens. Like, you just have to get comfortable throwing pasta at the wall and seeing what sticks because you don't know. And you're right. The audience is going to tell you. Yeah. The audience is going to tell you what they like and what they want to see. But also, like, you are an artist and you get to decide. I could post a video of Legend Lake every single day and people would probably love it and it would probably do really well. But I wrote that song 6 years ago. And as much as I love that song, first of all, since that song came out, I have like 30 other songs since then that I would love to give them their flowers, because I have so many songs I feel so strongly about. But also, like, I would be so bored if I posted the same song every single day. I'm already posting unreleased songs because I'm going to be putting out more music this year. Yeah. Because I can't not. So
how are you in an age of singles and like how are you like so like I'm going to put out an album and that's how it's going to be instead of just following the trend of the singles? Because that was interesting to me.
Mm-hmm. I have too much music. I have too much stuff that I love. I grew up with artists like Sarah Bareilles, Taylor Swift. Like those were not really Taylor Swift. I mainly grew up listening to Sarah Bareilles, Kenny Loggins, actually, Jimmy Buffett. Okay. Like I grew up listening to like those kinds of artists, and they all had records. Like they were all producing records. They weren't doing the single game. Yeah. Like Sarah Bareilles' single was Love Song on that full album. You know what I mean? So that it wasn't the same. And so I grew up listening to albums. And so because I grew up that way, I'm like, well, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't really make sense for me to do the single game unless like it's for financial purposes. Like if I'm in an era where I'm like, I still want to be putting music out, but I can't afford to, do a full album right now. But even still, like last year, I took kind of like a hiatus to focus on some other stuff, and I wasn't putting out as much music. I actually didn't. I put out one EP just to commemorate 5 years from Legend Lake being released, and the only thing I did was I did my own acoustic version of Legend Lake, but it was all previously released songs, and actually a few that didn't have a album to go with them, and I was like, oh, perfect, I'll throw them on here. I grew up on albums. And so in my brain, there's no other way I would do it than to do albums. Yeah. Because that's what I grew up on, was albums. Like, I mean, yes, you could put a single out and continue to put singles out, but I want to have a body of work that tells a story. Like, my first album was all about me finding myself and kind of the struggles that I mentally went through to find that person and establish myself as an artist and kind of like what I was going through. And then Hot and Young came from a place of, truthfully, last year I went through a really bad medical scare where I had to have a partial mastectomy, and it was a fully benign tumor, thankfully, but I did have a tumor for like 10 months where we didn't know if it was cancer. We didn't think it was cancer, but then nobody was really sure what it was, and it was growing rapidly. And so my surgical team and my oncologists were like, we need to just take this out. So going through all of that, I was like, I can't be doing I have to take care of myself. But I was still writing, and when I was going through such a hard time, I wanted an album of happiness, because I was like, what I need right now are things that lift me up and bring me joy when I'm in such a dark place. So that was where all of those songs were born, were from moments where I was like, I need I need songs that lift me up. I need songs that bring me happiness and joy and just fill my cup, because there's so much dark and heavy music right now, especially in the time that we're in, and it's all valid and I'm all for it, but I don't think we have enough joyful music.
No.
And so that was what I was like, I want to write a song that when I listen down, I feel fierce, I feel empowered, I feel good about myself, and you know, and also I write so many sad songs. I was like, I need some happy music because I'm getting really depressed at my own shows. I cannot be at my own shows just like, okay, here's another song about a person that's dead. Like, I was like, I have to write some songs that have some levity to them. Yeah. And so that's where Hot and Young was born, was just from a place of like me needing joy in my life and needing to feel good about myself, and me wanting that for other people too. Because it's like, I think that, you know, there are a lot of, like, I guess, like, girl bossy songs out there.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, but I wanted to, I guess, kind of to have a lens of, like, yes, it's girl boss, but also I'm kind of a mess. Like, like, my first song, Bad Libs, like, that's all about me being, like, I crush on people, and then I'm like, and here's how our wedding will go, and here's how many kids we're having, and here's what we'll live. And, which is messy. No one should be doing that, but I do it.
But, no, yeah. I was like, okay.
That's what happens. So it's like you owning up to, like, who you are and embracing it and not being afraid of it, while still being like, but I'm still badass.
Yeah.
I'm a mess, but I'm also a badass.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, I loved it. And I love that. What's some advice you would give people that are just starting out in this at any age?
Well, first of all, you don't have to know what you're doing to start.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because you learn so much from just doing it. And I think a lot of people are afraid to go into music or the arts. I mean, there's a dual part of it. It's the financial part, which we as a society need to freaking fix that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We could have an hour about that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But on the other side, it's this fear of, well, I don't know how to play piano. I don't know music. I don't know this. I don't know that. First of all, there's so many people who are highly professionals that do this on a big level, can't read music.
Yeah.
Can't read cheap music, and they're releasing music. So you don't need to know everything to start, and you will learn so much. You don't need to know everything to start.
Yeah.
You learn from making mistakes. And I actually think it's really important to make mistakes, because you build stamina.
Yeah.
You grow so much from the mistakes that you make. And, you know, not everything is this, like, mistake where you're like, oh, my career is over. It's like a blip. And, you know, you can look at it and go, okay, some of this went the way I wanted it to, and then some of it didn't. And so next time, this is how I'm going to do it differently. And these are the things that were valuable from that experience. And these are the ones I'm going to leave behind. So it's just, you just need to start. You just need to start. Same with, like, being online. People are so afraid to post content. You just need to start.
Yeah.
And you just need to be unabashedly okay with being annoying. I know I'm annoying, and I don't think that's a negative term.
No, I've really grown into, like, you know what? I can't hide things about myself anymore. I'm too old for that, and I don't want to keep living my life like that. But I love that. I love that you were just like, let's just learn Logic, because I also just want to do that some days, and I just need to break out of whatever is
It's not even
holding me
learning.
back.
I still don't really know how to use it.
Yeah.
Do you know how many times I, like, will send my producer stuff, and she's like, you need to go back in the room because I can't use this. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, let me Google YouTube. Yeah. Like, there's so much free, good information. Not AI. Let's not be using AI. But there's free tutorials on YouTube. That's how I learned a lot of my stuff, is I would sit down and I would just watch YouTube tutorials, and I would read articles about how to do stuff, and then I was like, okay, so I'm gonna do this, you know. And then
I've been very much I can do that, because I know I can find a YouTube video and figure it out myself, because I'm that determined.
And, like, your peer, the like other big thing, like, I would put out there is, your peers in this industry are not your competition.
Yes.
There is enough space in the industry for literally all of us. Yeah. We're all doing our own thing. And if you want to have a community, you have to be in the community. You can't just say, oh, I want to have a following. Oh, I want to, you know, do this and do that. You have to show up for other people. You have to be that person that is cheering on the people around you, because also it's so lonely to try to do this fully by yourself, and you actually are going to burn out a lot faster if you don't have people to commiserate with. Sometimes I'll just sit with my friends and be like, damn, it is rough out there, and we'll all be like, yeah, it is, you know. So it's like it feels in my moments where I'm feeling the most stressed is when I'm like, let me get with my people who are doing what I'm doing, and I view them all as like, I want everyone in my life. I want all my creators, anyone who's doing this artistically, I want all of them to have success. I want all of us to be at the top together. I'm never trying to put someone down to get to my next space, because first of all, I'd rather bring you with me. Yeah. But second of all, there's no point. There have been millions of people making music since the beginning of time, since we first invented what music was, and there will be millions more making it forever and ever and ever. So there's no reason to think of anybody as your competition and not your. It's like, build together, do things together, create what you want to see for yourself with the people in your life, and it will be far more joyful to see everyone as like, this is my peer, this is my friend. Like, look at people as your friends. It's not just a networking opportunity. That's like a real person with real feelings. Let them and be friends with them and go grab coffee, and it doesn't have to be like, how am I getting ahead tonight? It can just be, I want to go see a show at the basement and my friends are awesome and that was some good music.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for being on the show with us today. Katie?
Also, we'll put it in our description where everyone can find you, but do you want to real quickly give all that information as well?
I was going to say, we've been talking about it, but I have a new album that's out, Hot and Young, came out in about a month and a half ago, and so that's on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Audio Mac, Tidal, it's everywhere. Anywhere you find music, you can find it. It's also, you can purchase it digitally on my website if you want the money to go right to me. You can put it there. You can buy there or on Bandcamp. So I've got that out. I'm on all socials. Miggie, MIGGIE _Snyder is my on all my socials. And I'm out and about in Nashville.
Yeah.
I'm at 8th and Roast.
Awesome. Well, if you want to follow us as well, we're at the Music Lens Podcast on all the socials. If you want to follow Alex, she's at Alex Laker Music on all the socials. And you can follow me at Katie Fee Music on all the socials. And we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.